When Chief Crazy Horse was asked by the tribal elders in the Dakotas, maybe 150 years ago or so, whatever, to lead the nations to fight a great war that would encompass half of the western United States, and he already thought he was beyond his prime, and so he took it on and said to the elders that a man that's asked to have a great vision must be able to follow that vision, like the eagle follows the deep blue into the sky. In other words, if you're going to be spiritual, if you're going to accomplish something spiritual for your family, for your soul, for all humankind, you must be willing to stay on target with that. We talked about the Japanese, they'd sit out on their mats for 12 years. When you were building a Japanese garden, have you ever seen how exquisite they are, how they're cultured, and you can sit there in any weather and just and appreciate everything, and you disappear through nature into this openness where visions are plentiful. So after today's session, we're all going to have the ability to sit whenever we want for hours at a time. Today, people have the concentration of a gnat and the moral sense of a gnat. It's a shame. But we'll change it today, won't we? We'll learn to sit quietly, to see deeply and powerfully, with the same vision of the great Chief Crazy Horse. We'll see through all the madness, and we'll know there's an end point to the madness, the pain, the trauma, the horror that accompanies our waking vision all day. It's truly dreadful. At the same time, if you've been following your vision, as all the spiritual people in the world have, I certainly have every moment of every day. I'm aware, I've always been, what's going to happen with this force and that force and communism and so on and so forth. I have no doubt I saw it coming, all of it, but I'm not here. You're not here. You're spiritual. You're going to learn to sit quietly and look through all the madness, and you'll see, as the old ancient seers have seen, through the madness. And their legacy has taught us that the world need not be. That the higher vision of man within himself, of a deeper, purer, kinder reality, is always present. And we simply have to quiet ourselves. And when we're quiet, we'll see through the madness. The Indian seers have always said that the world is an illusion. Now, how can that be? Well, when you're in this state of quietude, like Thoreau or Emerson, all the thousands of writings about spirituality and poetry, and it just, when you walk into nature, it just takes you away, right? When you hold the hand of the one you love, or see a child laughing, the world disappears. And when you really know why you were born and why you're here, and that the world truly is something to be overcome. Jesus Christ in the scripture said that if a man does not hate the whole world for my sake, he is not worthy of me. And the writing was written in a very mystical way, and that's the way it came out. But the point being that hate the world, not hate, it's despise its essence, because it is pure evil, and yet its essence is a lie. It's a negation of everything true and real and human. First of all, it's very human. When one day you have the actual vision of God, it's a very human sentiment with it. It's a kindness that we cannot dream or envision. Even the great spiritual friends we have, especially the one in our own heart. I'm speaking to all the spiritual people in the world. We know a dream, a vision beyond all reality all the time, don't we? And we're forced to focus on the everyday around us, which we know to be unreal, unnecessary. It's not crazy to say it's an illusion. It involves the deepest imaginable courage. Remember one time when a friend of mine saved my life with his, and after he was dead, he said something to me. But we're living in that Pure Land, that place beyond time or circumstance. You'll see it described in all great literature, poetry, art, architecture. There's something trying to push beyond the bounds of the everyday. And in deep reflection, when you quiet yourself, you'll see that we speak of. And that is the end of all strife and pain and trauma and hardship forever. And that's the way this world is going to end. To some number of us sitting together quietly, watching the rains, quietly, knowing that not just that this need not be, but this horror about us is not. It's something called temptation. And if you're truly spiritual, like the people in this room, we've all had great visions of eternity, of God. My buddy Greg has had miracles in the last week or so. In fact, a number of them. But so much more in a precious light is about to encompass the whole world. And it will be accomplished through us, the quiet ones of the far-off mounts. We're going to bring the ancestors, the great chiefs, like Crazy Horse, my buddy. If I say that, anyone who knows me knows that I can talk to your ancestors, your friends, your family members. If you're with me quietly, I can communicate with anyone, anywhere, at any time in history. That's simply what all spiritual people do. It's part of the reality, because we're not locked in our body in a time frame ever. We're always transcendent of it. We never get to say that because people are not quiet. They believe everything around them is happening. And that's why you have to sit off on the sideline now and then and appreciate the daylight, the noontime hour, the early evening, and deep into the night is where you'll find him, the only God. And you, God's very best friend. And from today on in, God's very best instrument of the end time. You're going to invite your family and friends and loved ones to eternity, involving all the great ones too, or the poets we love, or the gardener that took care of our family, whatever it is, the good people in our life. We're going to feel and experience their soul in a very, very, very deep and precious way. And we're going to understand the good people around. I'm not saying there are people that are pure evil, and they will dissipate and disappear into this. But most of our family members and so on, we're going to find out why. They were in pain, well, we had a bad incident with us from the time we were 8 or 13 years old, and we're going to let go of that and look through it and see what they went through. And infinitely beyond that is this presence of God. So this healing will take place in a quiet, very precious emotional field. Not that we'll just forgive and forget, but we'll see, we'll understand, we'll be part of the eternal God. And for people like myself, or the spiritual ones I know, has never left our conscious awareness. Even gone through the worst imaginable trials and errors, we see what this world is trying to do to us. Let's stop seeing what this world is trying to do to us. Let's see who we really are, what we're really made of, which is light and air and kindness and wonder and joy. and something, a word we'll really hear in its truest sense: truth. Truth is the presence of immortal God, the purity of eternity. And God is 1,000,000,000 times more than even the spiritual among us can comprehend or know, even though he speaks to us from time to time. And when he does, it's though we're the only person in the world, because to our Father God, we are the only person in the world. And today's anointing involves a Holy Communion, an end to the pain of this world, through the grace of our own heart and soul. First, respecting our mother's gift, that she gave up any happiness or joy, although the thrill of bringing us up transcended everything she ever wanted for herself. She tried to give it to you. And we're going to give that to all the great people we know in our life. Great meaning spiritual, kind, real, true. And we can meet them at the supermarket. We can meet them, see them anywhere. And these are the great meetings we have in our life, right? It's not from a history textbook, but from our heart, from our soul. And our heart and soul are our mind and our body. When we're awake, it's a precious sense. That's what spirituality is. It's something very human. It's not when I'll be enlightened and I'll leave the world. It's something so kind and true and real and forever. It's a forever gift, as my friend Annette once remarked. It's not just that you will live forever and that no one ever died, but from this day on you're going to bring forever through you into this, what seems to be a world system, and we're going to transmute it, as the old alchemists were wont to say, from lead to gold. In other words, into a more spiritual state. We're going to do that. That's your power, that's your gift. And your availability to that is now forever. Through this blessing, this prayer, this understanding, this wisdom, this communion we share together before Almighty, everlasting, infinite God, our Father and our friend. To make it very clear, this is not religion or even spirituality. This is truth, the absolute truth of one God, one presence. And to make it very clear in a very base way, we incarnated, as it were, here as aspects, as part of rays of light from heaven. And that's why our life is so hard, because we're not a body in a life at a time. That's never been true. And all that's going to dissolve in our atmosphere, in our thought, in our aspiration and inspiration. We're going to sit quietly in that old Japanese garden, and after you've built the garden and the roof and you put the mats in the right place and the doorway, it's set up there for 12 years building I'm just an aspect at a time. It could be 16 or 9. You build it all so that at a certain time you can sit there. Like my friend Denise Lynn wrote Sacred Space. She was a great genius of everything spiritual. And you'd build it that way so you could sit quietly and appreciate the rain falling. So the whole family go out there to 4 to 6 hours in the evening and just sit quietly watching the rain drizzle over the leaves that are set up in a certain way, so they'll drop down off the roof or off the side and into the little pool you had there for your koi fish, like my friend Susan George has. There are wonderful things that you have to plan, that you have fixed, that you motivate. And I'm saying we're going to feng shui our insides today. You're going to be able to sit quietly for 4 to 6 hours, whenever you want, in the near future. And when you do, this world will give way to your spiritual genius, to your heart, your soul, your need, your desire. to see something finer and more pure. All the great men I know, my teacher, Pedro Mink, the professor of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, my buddy Greg here, Escolta, we got my buddy Andre, we're all fighters, or Greg's boy, Jeremy Escolta, he's actually a Bruce Lee. I mean, he's that wonderful in that, but they're all sweethearts, and all they want for the people around them, and I'm not talking about warriors in that way, they happen to be very spiritual, so I'm holding them up as an example of fatherhood. These tough guys, all they want is for the people around them to improve, for their family to tighten up, for the workplace to become more powerful, more inspirational. You understand, that's what a father is. My dad was the toughest guy in the world, but all he really wanted, despite the fact people were scared and he walked in the room, because of his presence, was for everyone to be clean and happy, clean up their act, straighten up. And when he did juvenile for a year or two, when he was a cop, he would take the kids home that did bad things on the street and take them home to the parents, sometimes a little roughed up, and just tell the parents to straighten them out. He didn't want to bring them into the system because that would mess up their whole life. My friend Tim Gatto, that's what he does, and developed the gang intelligence unit in this county. He's just a good guy, just tough as nails, but all he wants to do is help people all day. And that's what a strong man does. That's what a mom does. You're living for the others. So if we carry that to its final fruition inside ourselves and know that that's what we want. We want to inspire, we want to uplift, we want to improve, we want to spiritualize everything forever. And that's what we're talking about today. You have the gift, the power, the anointing. It's in you, and you've known it from birth, haven't you? And everything in this world has been collecting around you, keeping you from going there. And if you simply understand how to quietly step away from the rest, and you'll see it coming at you, these devilish little attacks to the day and night to make you feel a little less, a little off, right? I'm lonely, I have to go here, I have to go there. You're not going to be lonely, you're going to be thrilled. My friend Maureen Solomon was a great spiritual teacher, and she wrote books about natural foods and so forth. An off the charts genius. I met many doctors through her that were involved with a more natural healing process. And so she came to me and my buddy that owns this gym the other day, and she passed 15 years ago, 13 years ago, whatever. But she's here. Her spirituality, all she ever thought about was Jesus Christ. So, and people like that I've known, like my dad, wouldn't let go after he was dead. I've known many people like that. And my buddy, that after he took a bullet for me, he was dead. There was Robert, and he, blood out of every orifice. And he said, "Robert, get down." I was following him, and I was supposed to be the point man, and he stepped ahead of me and took a bullet for me. And he said, after he was completely dead, his spirit said, "Get down." Now this happens to me all the time. This happened to be at a very powerful moment because it changed everything in my life trajectory. And but these things happen all the time. Point being, there is no death, no sorrow, no pain, no grief anymore in your heart and soul. You're not going to allow it. You're going to be everyone's daddy or everyone's mommy. You will not allow it. You have spiritual greatness in your heart. That's why you were born. That's what we're describing right now. It's yours. You own your future. It's yours. Everything is yours. You're going to learn to sit quietly in the early evening hours when the sun comes up, whenever you like, and let go of everything, and God will take care of all the details, because the materiality coming at you is not meant, but you're the hero. You're my friend Robert stepping into the fray and taking a bullet for the rest of us. They've made you look bad, embarrassed, ashamed inside, and you've done nothing wrong. So when you clarify the butter, when you see the friends you like and family, this and that, there were little circumstances that weren't right. I have 4 sisters, and But we all love each other like little children. My little brother Jimmy, he went to Nam also like me and did his duty. We're all going to come together again like we did when we were children. And we're going to be a happy family. You've just had spiritual greatness thrust upon you. You've given yourself to this. You've been victimized by it. You did it voluntarily. And you did it for this reason, to bring this crazed civilization back to its senses, its spiritual senses. You are a spiritual prince and princess from this moment forward. God will be with you every moment of every day, of every second, until time no longer is. You are the light of ages. Your kindness is more powerful than the winds that blow in the night. You awaken all your friends and loved ones and all those that you find worthy to this new quietude that will soften and soften. And you'll understand that the world around us is a very dark but intended vision of its one particle of an infinitesimal, when you're spiritual, these words mean something, infinitesimal landscape. It doesn't really exist. You gave up divinity to be here. That's who you are. You are not just the essence, but you are the presence of Almighty, everlasting, infinite God, our Father, our friend, our light, our truth, most of all, our joy. You allow yourself to be victimized, to understand what's here. So that you can teach others, like young Greg here, when he'd go with Ralph Castro, the great Grand Master of American martial arts, to all the tournaments, and he had to go from one to the next to find out what the hell was happening, what it was, and now he teaches little young 4, 5, 6, 8, 12, 15, 11, 27-year-old champions. He's made many, many champions he's created through what he went through, because someone stole his bike when he was 5, and his dad, a Philippine war hero in the Second World War, took him to Master Castro's dojo up here in South City, and he basically slept on the floor and became a great, great champion at 12. And we're all champions in a different way. My friend here is a great champion of astrology. She fixes people through understanding, through deep wisdom, and you understand what you originally get into it to get yourself over certain things, or to know you have a teaching presence in you, so you want to give it, and so you learn whatever way you want to provide this healing ointment to the world at large. You will fulfill your spiritual destiny. You'll be a better mom, a better dad, a better son, a better daughter, as you heal your family. First of all, of course, your heart. And if there are a few people you won't forgive, don't forgive. That's not the point. The point is you'll let go when you see with wisdom how this one was hurt or that one was hurt. I know a lot of people are afraid of my dad. That's because he had to be the adult in the room all the time. Wasn't what he wanted to do, but there was no choice. So if you're a dad, a mom, you understand what was meant right there. We have to be responsible. It's not about us. It's about those we care for. And today it's about civilization itself before it crumbles into absolute madness and lunacy. We're going to save all the souls, all the good ones. This isn't a religious revival meeting. This is a heartfelt, very calmly considered understanding that the presence of the Almighty will pass through us. And we'll sit quietly from time to time and not accept the madness. It's more powerful than any weapon. In the end of things, as Anne Frank said, the most powerful weapon, the sharpest weapon, is a kind heart. For in that kind heart you'll see God. You'll forgive yourself first and know that you've been set up. I've been set up more than most. Just to let you know, I'm not saying something delusional. It's an atmosphere of forgiveness, of letting go, and of reviving all the deeper, beautiful senses you had as a child. That child's innocence is yours again. You will own the ground you walk on, but you won't be walking on the ground. You'll be walking 1 or 2 inches above it for the rest of your life, of your time here, and your feet will disappear, and your body, and even your human mind relating to this stuff, you can let go of all of it. God will be with you directly, personally, all day, every day from here on in. You're God's voice, God's vision, you're God's life, you're God's heart and soul. You'll heal the nations. I put together a couple books, Island of Hearts, like this YouTube thing, and Susan George put together an absolute work of art for some writings I did that were called After Time, which is from Revelation 10, that there be time no longer, that the mystery of God should be finished. So all this stuff, the more you see, the more you feel, it's all there for you. So you have a friend during this time, but you don't really need it because God will be with you. And the more you understand about the world, I understand everything about this world around us because I care and I wanted to change it all. And in the end, the simple vision from childhood that'll end through innocence is mine to have and hold. I've healed many, many thousands of people in my life, and no matter what else is going on in my life as a person, it's always very hidden and very delicate. And you'll look back and you'll find many friends who loved and cared for you, that you touched their lives, no matter what you were going through. The devil did not allow you to appreciate and enjoy any great win. Did the devil? No. The devil, this force, this stupidity, this arrogance and ignorance that we see on the streets and through all the mediums. I think one time someone said the medium is the message. In other words, all these devices we have, it's in itself. We're not looking to God, we're looking at the device. The medium is the message. So if we stop looking at the medium and just only look at the fullness of God, all day, every day, you won't need any source of income or outcome. You are the light of ages. God will be with you every moment through this battle. And as you have daily visions of eternity, it'll become more simple, more gratifying, and more horrible seeing the evil of the world. You want to get rid of it soon. So you'll devise simpler ways of healing, of caring, of lifting, of communicating to those you love and care for, of touching someone in pain, of letting them know someone cares, or simply being quiet and not even being here. I'm saying for myself, for all the spiritual people in the world, I am not here. I am not here. I've never been here. They call it enlightenment or whatever, it's God consciousness, but if you know someone with that innocence, protect them, give to them, care for them. They're very alone. Talked to a dear friend of mine who's more spiritual than I am, yet I'm this instrument, I've done all these things in my life. And this friend has only lived through pain and trauma, and now he's walking out of it after 70 years, and It's nice to acknowledge to someone else without complaining that we are completely alone here. I don't want you to be completely alone here anymore. I will be with you. My friend will be with you. All the great holy ones, Chief Crazy Horse, my mother and dad, your mother and dad, Greg's pop, we're all going to be with you. Your family's going to reincarnate, as it were, but not in the world as a body. You'll feel their spiritual sense with you. You'll understand everything, and we're going to move through this atmosphere. Everything solid will disappear. And that's how it ends. Through kindness. Kindness to heal your friends and loved ones that have touched you in your life, and maybe there's been a certain altercation involved on whatever level, and you're going to see why this, why the other. My granddad that I never saw came to me the other night. He doesn't know his name. He passed from the First World War, and he didn't even know his name because what he went through, but we're there, and he's completely spiritual, and I am, and you are, and God is, and your future is, and your past was. And we're going to heal and help and redirect and teach and correct and purify and dignify. Most of all, dignify. Take back the ground you walk on. Protect the streets of your neighborhood with your heart and soul. And it'll end the madness. Again, there is an endless universe of spirituality, and what we think incarnated as a body, as a place, in a time, is the illusion. And infinity itself, God's presence, will spread out through your heart and soul in the very near future. And you'll save the world, as it were. During your quiet times, in the stillness of the late eve, you'll see him, the only God. You are the grace of God incarnate. You will fulfill this most holy of missions. You have spiritual greatness thrust upon you, although you're too meek and mild inside to accept it. And that's why it's thrust upon you. And you know exactly what was just said. You will not be a victim anymore on our watch. Please accept this prayer. It's for you. Thank you. And pick up one of those 2 books if you want, or look at some of these videos done, or anything anywhere. But you won't need to, because whatever you need will come to you. In a split second, wherever you go walking around the home, you'll reach out and you'll touch something that's so precise from God. This happens in my life 25 hours a day, and all the spiritual people I know. The right thing happens all the time. God's presence will be with you. This is how God will speak with you, be with you, and it's going to be wonderful. You are God's presence in the world. They better watch out. Whatever you need will appear. Thank you for listening. God bless you.